Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. Now this one is a 3 versus 3 on the Frozen Lake Bed map, and this one actually I'm very excited to bring you guys because it is basically a battle of the bows, or really just whoever has the best archers, because you're going to see a lot of arrows flying in this battle, mainly because we have got Elves, 3 armies of the Elves versus 3 armies of Dale, both two very archer heavy factions. And this should be really interesting because the Elves are more focused around damaging their opponents with their arrows, whereas Dale, while they can definitely do some damage, they also have good armor, and actually a lot of their foot archers have shields. So it's going to be really a matter of, do the Elves have enough damage to kill those heavily armored archers, or are the Dalian archers going to be able to weather those arrows pretty well? So without any further ado, we can go ahead and go into the army compositions, and we can go ahead and start with mine. I'm going to be playing as the Realm of Lothlorien, definitely one of my favorite elven factions to play. So for my front line, I've got 2 units of the Edeltirith backing up 2 units, or being backed up by 2 units of the Lothlorien archers. The Lothlorien archers are more heavily armored, but they are more expensive. They also are very good in melee because they whip out 2-handed swords. On either flank, I've got 1 unit of the Sylvan Staff Masters. These guys are really just a target unit. They also happen to be AP, but with their very low damage, they're not going to get a ton of kills, but they should do a good job of holding the line. For my mainline infantry, I've got 4 units here of the Lothlorien Blades. Now these guys are incredibly good sword and shield infantry. They've got 11 attack, 32 defense, which I believe is pretty much on par with units like Castamir's Legion. However, the Castamir's Legion has way better armor. I believe these guys only have 9 armor without any upgrades. However, one of the main selling points, at least for me anyway, to bring these guys over other units, despite the fact that they do cost a bit more, is because they have 17 skill, which 17 skill for a sword and shield infantry unit is really quite insane. I mean, even the 2-handed Lothlorien sword masters, I think they're just called the Lothlorien sword masters, so the 2-handed sword variant of these guys has only 16 skill. So the sword and shield infantry has more skill than the 2-handed swords, which is really uncommon. So against a lot of different units, these guys can do extremely well. But anyway, for my second line back here, I've got 3 units of the Lothlorien Warriors. I decided to bring these guys because while they are shock infantry, so they could get skirmished down pretty quickly, Dale actually does have a pretty decent amount of armor, so I thought the AP would be be a reasonably good idea to bring. And behind them, I've got my Generals unit of the Galadrim Nobles. These guys are very good, both as archers and in melee. Their main weakness is that they really don't have a ton of arrows, so you're gonna have to pick your targets carefully with these guys, definitely. So, and then for my last 3 units, I've got 3 units of the Sylvan Spears back here, just to kind of ward off any enemy cavalry, and if I have to, I could rush them forward to my front lines to protect my archers and my front line from any cavalry charges as well. But that'll pretty much do it for my army comp, so we can go over here to the first of my allies, who is going to be Pharaoh, commanding the army of the Realm of Mirkwood. So he's got 4 units here of the Megil E. Aaron, as well as 4 units of the Thandrim E. Aaron. That's basically just 4 spears and 4 shields. He's got 3 units here of the Thurny Tower. They are in a nice, I guess, thin formation, but they're not in loose formation, so they probably will take a lot of losses, which is rather unfortunate. He also has 1 unit back here of the Maethar Elasgun, who are, of course, a spear/javelin hybrid. He's got some Aradirth Amonlenk back here. These guys are the elite archer unit that has pretty good armor, as well as they use 2-handed axes, I believe, in melee. So they're both AP, and I believe they have a bonus against cavalry in melee. He also has 1 unit of his Roic-Bin Amonlenk right here. These guys are anti-cavalry. I believe they're technically spear cav, so they're not going to do great against infantry, but against other cav they should do quite well. And for his general, he has got 1 unit of the Ire Argue E. Nanwaith, the elite archer unit that Mirkwood can bring. You can see Thranduil right there. Anyway, that'll pretty much do it for his army comp. He could have a few more hidden units, but I don't really think so, just based off of his general army that is not hidden. So over here we can see the final army of the Elves, which is going to be the Realm of Imladris, commanded by Lengo. He's got 1 unit of the Noratino Warriors, as well as 2 units of the Eldar Quinga, who are upgraded. He's got 3 or 4 units of the Eldar Hatar, as well as 3 or 4 units of the Eldar Makar, so that's just pikes and then swords and shields. He's also got 2 units here of the Imladris Guardians on either side, 1 unit of the Eldar Enway Heraclinga, so these guys are just the Eldar Enway archers. For his general, they're not quite as good as they used to be, but still very good. They have a really nice range. He's got 1 unit of the Imladris Blade Masters back here, and then for his cavalry, he's got 2 units of Noratino Cav, as well as 2 units of the fully upgraded Imladris Riders. I believe he put 2 armor upgrades on these guys, so they're going to be extremely difficult to skirmish down, even for Dale. Actually, the Dragon Slayers probably could skirmish them down easily, but that's just a kind of a, I guess, random thing, because I'm not sure if you'd want to use Blackshot Dragon Slayer ammo on just some cavalry. But anyway, we can now go over here to the first of the Dalian armies, which is going to be commanded by Mark XMD. He's got 1 unit of the Earls of Dale to ward off any enemy cavalry. Not going to do great in charges, but still, at dealing with other cav, they should do quite well, which is unfortunate because I did not bring any cavalry of my own. But for his archers, he's got 2 units of the Dalian Marksmen. These guys are pretty heavily armored. They've got a nice shield value, so they're really focused more on survivability rather than dealing damage. For his infantry, I believe he's got 3 units of Barding Herd, maybe 4, yeah, just 3 actually. So AP Halberds there, he's got 3 units of the Earls of Esgaroth. Now the Earls of Esgaroth are, in my opinion, a rather interesting pick against the Elves, because against Orcs or something like that, they would do really well, honestly. But against Elves who have high skill, or who have better skill and better stats for the most part than the Earls of Esgaroth, I think they will definitely struggle. However, we'll have to see how they do in the actual battle. He's also got 2 units here of the Swordmasters of Karnan. These guys should do quite well because they're high in skill, but still they will always struggle against the Elves, who are really high in skill for the most part. He's got 1 unit only of the Lake Town Infantry, just a pretty bad, maybe slightly above militia tier infantry unit, but still not great. He also has 1 unit back here of the Gyrians Paladins, very good AP shock infantry, and even though the Elves aren't very heavily armored, they still will do a very good job against most of my infantry. For his, no, it's not for his general, he's also got 1 unit of the Blackshot Dragon Slayers, the AP archers, very deadly and can shoot down cavalry very quickly, as well as they can pretty much shoot down anything quickly, because they're pretty much just like archers that shoot javelins. He's also got for his general 1 unit of the Dalian Royal Guard, both very good in melee and at range, and also very expensive, which is why he has a rather small army. So we can now go over here to the next of the Dalian armies, which is going to be commanded by Tundra's Fox, very experienced player. He's got 1 unit of the Dalian Lancer Cav, he's got 1 unit of the Earls of Esgaroth over there, he's got 1 unit here of the Morroquindi Bows, and these were actually an interesting pick, I thought, but they should do quite well, honestly, because they do have Elven accuracy, I believe, so against Elves it should be rather useful. He's also got 1 unit of civilians back here just to kind of, I guess, just be here, honestly, because civilians aren't going to do much against Elves in any situation. And I really like his army because he brought a ton of archers, which I think will be really helpful for him. He's got 2 units of the Dalian Marksmen as well as 2 units of Bardian Marksmen here on his front lines, so a ton of very heavily armored as well as well-shielded archers on the front line. Behind them, he's got his more lightly armored Lake Town Bows. However, because of how many archers, and because he also brought both the Dalian Royal Guard and the Blackshot Dragon Slayers, his infantry is going to be pretty lacking. He's only got like 2 or 3 units, I believe, of the Lake Town Spears, who are really not good spearmen, and against Elves they will get torn up by pretty much any Elven unit on the battlefield. But he does also have, I believe, 2 or 3 units of the Lake Town Pikemen, and while the Pikemen are very cheap and don't have very good stats, they actually, if used correctly, could be very effective against the Elves, mainly just because of their good reach, because they are, of course, pikes. Anyway, he also back here has his own Blackshot Dragon Slayers as well as Dalian Royal Guard. Also, something to mention about the Blackshot Dragon Slayers is they are also extremely powerful in melee, but you do have to support them. Anyway, so you can now go to the final Dalian army, which is going to be commanded by XXX. He's got a couple units of the Lake Town Bows. Actually, that might be... Is it just 2? Yeah, just 2 units of Lake Town Bowmen. He's got 1 unit of the Dalian Marksman up there in the front. And for his infantry, he definitely went more infantry and cavalry focused, because he's got 4 units of Dalian Spearmen, all in shield wall. He's got 3 units, I believe, maybe 4 actually, of Barding Herd AP Halberds. And back behind them, he's got 3 units of his own Earls of Esgaroth. And for his cavalry, he's got 2 units of the Dalian Lancer Cav, as well as 2 units of the Earls of Esgaroth. So Lengo's definitely going to have his work cut out for him in terms of the cavalry, but he's not going to really have to worry about too much in terms of archers, which is rather good, honestly, for him, because Imladris can struggle in the archer fights just because they don't have as high tier of archers as, say, Lorien or Mirkwood. Because the Eldar Quingar really aren't super great, and nor are the Norrentine Warriors. But anyway, that is beside the point. We'll go ahead and go into the into the battle itself. I think we'll go ahead and go over here first, because if I remember correctly, I think that Mark actually rushes me, interestingly enough. But we can look over here at least for a little bit of the skirmish fight, because you can see the Morquindi bows are marching around. Both the Dalian Marksman and the Thurny Tower are all in range of each other, which is unfortunate, I would think, for Pharaoh, because the Elves tend to have much better range. Well, not much better, but slightly better range than the humans, because you can actually see my Edeltirith are actually already firing at the Dalian Marksman, and the Dalian Marksmen are not close enough to return fire. At least just yet, anyway. I think we'll go take a look over here, because I really love seeing archers fire. Or not, they're not going to fire. But yeah, you can see Mark is going to push forward with a lot of his infantry now, so that is going to provide me some good targets. Because now, instead of targeting his archers, I will instead be targeting units like the Barding Herd and like the Swordmasters of Conan back there. I just love archers firing. Looks so nice. But yeah, so Dale is going to be marching forward now. You can see him about to get to my archers, honestly, so I will have to pull them back relatively quickly. But because he is rushing me, a lot of his forces are taking quite a number of losses, especially you can see the Swordmasters of Karnan already down to only 108. This unit of Barding Herd, they do have shields and pretty decent armor, so they are actually making a pretty good target, honestly. It is making me waste a lot of arrows on a unit that's not particularly deadly. I mean, their reach would be kind of annoying to deal with, but still, it's not impossible. Oof, yeah, those Swordmasters of Karnan not doing too hot. I believe that's because I'm also using my Galadrim Nobles to target them, but I also am definitely going to be saving some of the noble ammo for the Girian's Paladins, as well as for the cavalry, because even though the Earls of Dale aren't particularly good off the charge, they still could definitely cause damage to my backlanes and to my archers. Anyway, Dale was getting a little bit too close for comfort anyway for my archers, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them back, and we will very, very shortly see the infantry fight begin. Now, this is going to be a very interesting fight, and it did not go really, really at all as I had thought or really hoped, but I won't say much more besides that. So yeah, Barding Herd, they're doing alright, it looks like. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and charge with some of my infantry. I want to get a nice charge bonus off. Lorien Blades versus Earls of Esgaroth. It's going to be a pretty close fight, but I still think my Blades would win that. Over there, same thing, Blades versus Earls. I'm pushing for a couple units of Spears as well to just try to deal with the Barding Herd. Here comes some more Swordmasters of Conan, 123 and 175. Over here, I also decided to go ahead and commit my Lorien Warriors as well, because their AP is really, really going to help out against the Earls of Esgaroth, as well as other units. I'm just going to leave my Lorien Blades for a second and then charge them into the Barding Herd. Over here, my Spears, not going to do super great against the Barding Herd, but I just kind of had to throw them there, at least for the time being. But I will go ahead and support them with some Lorien Warriors right away. Over here, the Lieutenant Infantry really not going to do hot against the Lorien Warriors, as well as the Sylvan Staff Masters. And over here, the Earls of Esgaroth, oof, actually shaken and down to only 99, 96 now. Yeah, the Lorien Blades, the main thing that's bad about them is that they are rather expensive and that there's only 103 of them in the unit. So you can see they're already down to 83, but they have definitely done a good job so far. However, with the Swordmasters of Karnan, things are going to get a little bit closer, I would definitely assume. Over here, yeah, you can see my Lorien Blades are actually getting outflanked a little bit by the Swordmasters. But again, because of the high skill, the Lorien Blades might actually even have more skill than the Swordmasters of Karnan. However, it is still not going to be a very good fight for me. Over here, I've got some Spears and some Staff Masters charging into the Earls of Dale. I was also targeting them with arrows. Being heavily armored, they're not going to take a ton of losses to arrows, but I want to take these guys out as quickly as possible because I do not want them to rear charge my infantry lines. I'm fine if he rear charges my archers, just as long as he doesn't charge into my infantry lines, I should be okay though. Pushed up with his Blackshot Dragon Slayers. I don't know what he's targeting though. He definitely was not targeting my Galadrim Nobles, because they would have been dropping very much quicker than they were. Over here you can see that Lango actually came over and helped me out with some Noratino Lancers. He was able to get a really nice charge off on these Earls of Esgaroth who were facing down my Lorien Warriors. Elsewhere though, things are really not looking too good for Dale. Well, actually right here he's not doing too bad. You can see my Lorien Blades are really struggling against the combined force of those Earls and the Swordmasters of Conan. However, he does have his Earls of Dale in the backlines, and I'm going to try to charge them with my Sylvan Spears, but my Spears are not really fast enough, so he's going to get some pretty good charges off into my Lorien Archers, unfortunately. Oh, here comes some Dalian Cavalry from Tundra's Fox. Actually, I'm assuming he's going to charge into my Lorien Warriors, who were just about to flank those Barding Herd. But again, I believe because they're two-handed axes, these guys actually do have a bonus against cavalry. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down. It's getting a little bit choppy. But yeah, I believe because they're two-handed axes, they do have a bit of a bonus against cav, but again, after that Lancer charge, they're going to take a horrendous amount of losses. But again, the Swordmaster is getting absolutely flattened by the Nortino cavalry, who is now going to go into the archers. So some really nice teamwork here. I also went ahead and committed my Galadrim nobles because they were out of ammo. So they're going to be able to absolutely tear through these Swordmasters and what's left of those Barding Herd. Orion Blades, and I believe Warren Warriors are in there, yeah. Oh, another good charge. But here come the Girian's Paladins. I was gonna try to target them, but I decided instead to try to target those Earls, because they were still causing a lot of havoc in my back lines. But I'm gonna go ahead and look over here because things are picking up between Tundra's Fox and my other ally. So all of the 13 Tower have been completely butchered, unfortunately, for Pharaoh. And his infantry not doing too hot because, oh, it looks like, yes, Tundra's Fox had some Lake Town River Patrol. So unfortunately for Pharaoh, a lot of his infantry is going down right now. And that is very, very bad. Yes, and back here, the Aradir's Amon Lank, I believe, are getting targeted by both the Royal Guard and the Blackshot Dragon Slayers. So overall, things are not looking too good for Pharaoh. However, looks like Tundra's Fox has taken a few losses amongst his own infantrymen. And over here, looks like he's actually targeting some of the Nortino warriors of Lango as well, so some teamwork going on. And the skirmish fight is also just ensuing with Lango and his enemy. But over here, Dalian cavalry down to 22, and I believe all of the Nortino cavalry has been taken out. However, here come 25 Rokbin Amon Lank to come help out with the Earls of Dale, which is very fortunate. But elsewhere, things are looking pretty good for me. You can see here in the center, I was actually able to break through with some of my Lorien Blades. Unfortunately, I kind of ran them into some Royal Guard on accident, so they did get a lot of themselves cut down. However, 36 Lorien Blades against some Dalian Marksmen who seem to not be turning around is going to be very good for me. But yeah, elsewhere, the infantry fight is pretty much just going on how it is, really. It looks like I'm probably going to win this fight. Honestly, these Swordmasters of Karnan and Barding Herd aren't going to be able to hold for too long against all of my nobles and blades. Over here, the Girian's Paladins are doing really good against my 53 blades and my Lorien Warriors, but that is unsurprising. Over there at 34, I've got some archers going around the flanks, going to shoot at this Barding Herd who are stuck on my Sylvan Staff Masters. And yeah, pretty much things are just going on. And over here, the Barding Herd on this flank have been defeated, so I'm going to rush forward now with my Lorien Warriors, my Staff Masters, and a couple units of Sylvan Spears. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw them up here against the Dalian Marksmen and the Dalian Royal Guard, hoping to finally silence them. And there go the Dalian Cav, by the way. They did decide to, I believe, charge into some archers after taking a lot of arrow fire, so they did actually rout. Yeah, the Lorien Blades actually doing pretty well for themselves here against the Dalian Marksmen, who looks like have finally kind of turned around. They're actually at least fighting now. Yeah, you can see my infantry doing pretty well, honestly, against the Dalian Marksmen. The Dalian Marksmen are not great by any means in melee. The Dalian Royal Guard are definitely good, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do super great against all those elves. Yeah, the Galadrim Noble is super good in melee. Very deadly. But unfortunately, at this point, I'm pretty much out of ammo with most of my archers. I believe I only have like 1 or 2 archers that maybe have like a few volleys left. But over here, we can see the fight has actually begun. Here's some Thandra Me Aaron cutting down some civilians. However, this is going to be the end for them because here comes some Earls of Dale and charge in and just flatten these poor spears. Well, they're going to try to get out of it, but they're going to countercharge, but I mean, they are spears, honestly, so they might not do horrible. Interesting. But anyway, over here, the infantry fight has actually begun, and this is where things are going to get really interesting, because you can see the javelins are all done, and it's going to be pikes versus spears and sword and shield infantry. Now, normally I would think that the pikes would win, but it's going to be close, I think. Honestly, it's going to be really close. Here comes the 30 tower. But yeah, see the range of the pikes, that's going to be very bad for the elves. But anyway, looks like XXX, as well as Tundra's Fox, well, but mostly XXX, is moving forward a lot of his infantry to probably begin the fight with Lango, it looks like. Looks like he's kind of a little bit out of position here. He might find himself getting outflanked, but shouldn't be too terrible, because Dale's going to have to come towards him anyway.
Good tidings.
And there goes the Dale general on that side, Marks' general. Go over there and take a quick look at what's going on. Oh yes, because the Dragon Slayers are over here. There's still 33 Dragon Slayers that I have to try to deal with. You can see they took actually a lot of losses to my Galadriel Nobles, who I was using to target them. I'm going to go ahead and charge the Dragon Slayers with my Lorien Blades, and that's not going to be very good for them, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Over there, the Barding Herder routing. My Lorien Archers have been freed up. And I'm going to go ahead and try to now surround these Blackshot Dragon Slayers, as well as the last of these Dalian Royal Guard here. Back here, I've just got my archers just kind of sitting and waiting. I believe they're mostly all out of ammo. Yeah, I believe all 3 of these archer units are out of ammo, but I think this one back here still has just like maybe 1 or 2 volleys left over. So anyway, that's pretty much going to be the end of Mark X MD, so we'll go ahead and go over here and look at the other fights. I'll very shortly, believe me, I will very shortly be coming over here, because I saw how rather poor the fight was going with Pharaoh, because he's not going to be able to do very great against the pikes, honestly. And with the Royal Guard and all the cavalry still moving around, I'm going to go ahead and rush over here pretty much as quickly as I can. There's the last of the Royal Quinn Amon Link. Actually going to charge into the back of some pikes, which, you know, as long as he gets it out quick enough, it should be alright. Saw something about routing. Oh, there he goes. Unfortunately not able to get him out in time. Here comes some more flanking Lake Town bows. It's a very good thing for Pharaoh that Tunda's Fox did not bring any rangers, because if he just put some rangers up here, firing all down that line, oof, the body piercing would be terrible. But yeah, you can see Tunda's Fox didn't take a ton of losses in the skirmish fight. You can see a lot of Lake Town bows went down, but that's unsurprising. His Dalian marksman died. But the main good thing, at least for the Elves, the Elven team, is that he's definitely getting close to running out of ammo at this point, because he's been firing at the Elves for so very long. Anyway, over here, while the last of the Blackshot Dragon Slayers and Royal Guard are getting taken out, I'm going to go ahead and rush forward with my 4 units of archers, 3 of which are out of ammo. Just going to try to do a little bit, or cause a little bit of stress on Tunda's Fox's flank here, and hopefully attract both cavalry and arrow fire. Which you can see the Earls of Dale are actually rushing forward right now. Obviously my Edeltirith and as well as my Lorien Archers are going to be absolutely flattened by the Earls of Dale with their charges, but you know, I was just really hoping to kind of just whittle them down, you know, just a little bit by like through attrition, because for each charge the Earls of Dale will take a few losses, especially as I'm going to be firing at them with some of my arrows here. I'm going to take out a few, but not many. But yeah, ugh, my poor Edeltirith. Ugh. Just like half the unit there. More than half the unit there. But yeah, you can see the Earls of Dale down to 31. I was going to try to catch them out with my other unit of Edeltirith, but unfortunately not going to be able to do so. Oof, yeah, pretty much that entire unit of Edeltirith is absolutely flattened. And here we've got Ire, Arguay, Enanwe fighting against Lake Town bows. This will be an interesting fight because the Ire, Arguay are definitely outnumbered, but the Lake Town bowmen are way inferior in terms of skills and stats. And over here, this is where I start getting very surprised. I mean, if you look, the Megali Aaron and the Thendermere and the Spears are actually breaking through this pike block formation, which is extremely good for Pharaoh, because in every other aspect of the battle he was definitely losing. However, over here we've got a lot of flanking force. XXX is actually sent over a unit of Earls of Ezrath to outflank these units here. So on that flank he's not doing too hot, but over here you can see he's actually breaking through the pikes right there. So that's a very good. Now I'll take a look over here. Yeah, XXX having a very interesting formation, but we got here just in time to see the first advance of his infantry. Also over here we've got some Earls. Gonna charge into some Imlagis Guardians. Gonna try to go after the bodyguard unit of Lengo, but not going to be able to catch it. Imlagis Rider's gonna stand here. Gonna have to deal with those Earls somehow. There comes some pikes as well as some sword and shield infantry. And here are the 2 units of Dalian cavalry as well. Looks like XXX is not going to charge just yet though. Ooh, the Earls of Dale. Even though there's 44, the main thing that I did notice about these guys that I don't really like them very much for is, yeah, because they are, they don't have much in terms of the morale compartment. You can see they were at 44, and they did go ahead and rout. But if you think about it, it makes sense. They were fighting against pikes over here. They were fighting against cavalry. They were fighting against the Imlagis Guardians. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. The Alien Cav going to charge into some Noratino Cav. That'll be an interesting fight. I think the Dalian Cav might win just because they have more numbers. But over here we've got some Dalian Spears, and if they do decide to shield wall push through this pike line, things could go very badly for Lengo. You can see Dale is going to be able to pretty much surround, it looks like, Lango as it is. He's going to try to move his other unit of pikes over here to face those spears. He's got some sword and shield infantry coming over as well. Barding Herd, Earl's Buzzcraft. That's a pretty good line, honestly, from XXX, but we'll take a look over here. See what's going on. Yeah, you can see Pharaoh not doing too hot on his flank. His whole flank right here is just kind of getting wrapped up. But elsewhere, the pikes really struggling, surprisingly enough. Daelian Royal Guard, and I have gotten some of my infantry in the fight now. I've got some Lorien archers actually thinking about routing because of the charges of the Daelian Cav. But they're doing a good job, honestly, of cutting down these Daelian marksmen and the Morkundi bows. And with the support of these Maethar Elas Gellum, things are just going to get easier. Because you can also see my big block of infantry that I've got left is now on its way over here as they have taken out the last of those Blackshot Dragon Slayers. I've also got my other unit of Lorien archers up here helping out the Ire Argue Nenwaith against these Lake Town Bowmen. So these Lake Town Bowmen will fight for some time, but it's going to pretty much be the end. You can see they're just getting cut down left and right by the bodyguard and then also by my archers. Over here, Thurney Tower, or Hethley Tower, rather, actually, so the shock infantry, trying to do their best against the Daelian Royal Guard. And over here, yes, the infantry of Pharaoh just running around now after some Lake Town River patrol, because they were able to defeat those pikes. So now they will now be able to come over here, and another route from the pikes. Earls of Esgaroth shaken even, and looks like Tundra's Fox is going to find himself getting surrounded here because the Earls of Esgaroth are leaving to go after something else. I have no idea what. So it is going to leave his pikes here surrounded. So surprisingly enough, Pharaoh able to deal with that as of now. I mean, Tundra's Fox has a ton of archers left over, which is what I'm going to be engaging right now. But in terms of the main infantry fight, he was able to win. Over here, Lorien Blades going against some Bardian Marksmen. My Blades will win that fight. I'm just going to split up my forces. Definitely don't want to blob up. I'm going to just try to rush them wherever they are needed. But here comes the Lake Town River Patrol, which is very unfortunate for me. Galadriel Nobles going to do a really good job of cutting down these Daelian Marksmen in units like that. Over here, Spears, Blades, and Staff Masters, as well as Warriors, are definitely going to struggle against the Blackshot Dragon Slayers, mainly because you can see I'm not surrounding them, unfortunately. But elsewhere, Bardian Marksmen still holding on, at least for the time, but they will definitely lose that fight. Here's the Daelian Royal Guard. Oh, here comes some cavalry charges as well from Tundra's Fox. Going to try to stop these pikes from being surrounded, but I think that's inevitable at this point. Hethley Tower getting attacked by some Earls of Esgaroth. Ooh, yeah, things are getting close. Things are getting very close. Here's the Lake Town River Patrol. Oh, and this was just such a bad move by me. You can see my Galadriel Nobles here really aren't even needed on this side. I probably should have committed them elsewhere, but unfortunately I did not catch this in time, so my Galadriel Noble is just going to get absolutely butchered by the javelins. Unfortunately, that's a very bad thing, because that's just going to make dealing with these Blackshot Dragon Slayers and the Daelian Royal Guard just that much harder. Oh, Thandrimi Aaron, we're going after some Lake Town bows, but got flanked by some Earls. Yeah, that's just a very unfortunate loss. You can see Pharaoh's going to see this, and he's going to actually help me out here, going to charge after those Lake Town Patrol. Honestly, I was really impressed by the teamwork, by our teamwork. I thought we were actually did a pretty decent job of communicating and just playing this match all around. Anyway, the Morkundi bows, they do have two-handed swords, so they're going to be pretty skillful in melee. And unfortunately, my Galadriel Nobles just cut down pretty much exactly in half by those Lake Town River Patrol. I don't even think it's over quite yet, because it looks like they're still firing despite the fact that they're getting attacked right now. I think that's a little bit odd, honestly, that archers and javelins can actually fire while they're getting attacked. I think that is a little bit weird to me, but whatever. Galadriel Noble's down to 20. Oof, not good. 17. Luckily, my general's not dead, though, yet. However, at 17, they're unfortunately not going to be able to do too much in terms of the infantry fight. Over here, there are only 15 Bardian Marksmen, so I'm going to go ahead and commit this infantry blob somewhere else. Daelian Royal Guard still fighting over there. My archers on the hill are also fighting. Over here, the pikes actually wavering, and the Earls only at 1. Here comes some more dismounted Earls, though. My archers and the Ire Argue 1 on that flank, so they're going to go elsewhere. And yes, the Morkundi bows have been defeated, so I'm going to push my infantry over here to attack this Lake River Patrol. And even though there's only 17 of them left, the Galadriel Nobles, I think only 15, they're going to be able to butcher those Lake River Patrol. Yeah, now finally the Blackshot Dragon Slayers are getting surrounded, which is good, because you can see my infantry really thin on the grounds in that area. But we need to look over here for now. Earls of Esgaroth, not doing too good, honestly, but ooh, look at this. This is not looking good for Lengo. You can see, well, actually, I take it back. It's not looking great, but it's definitely not horrible, because it looks like he won the cavalry fight, surprisingly enough. I don't even know how. Mainly, I guess, just because of his archers, but here you can see the Enlarged Blade Master is going to cut down those Dalian marksmen. Eldar Atar holding okay against the Barding Herd. Oof, but this is a really close fight. You can see these spears are actually thinking about routing. Ooh, that's not good for Dale. Yeah, right here you can see Dale, or Lengo rather, is kind of getting pushed back. However, he does have Enlarged Guardians here, and against Dalian spears, that will be a very good unit. The Eldar and Heraquinga targeting down those Earls of Dale. So that's just a really close fight, honestly. Ooh, I don't know. That's close. He's got his horse archers back here as well, firing into the backs of the units. I think he also brought in a unit of horse archers over here to help out both myself and Pharaoh. This looks like Pharaoh has won the infantry fight right there, or at least is just about to win it. Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and target the backs of these Bardian marksmen. Over here we've got the Dragon Slayers surrounded by a small blob of Elven infantry. Let's see, we got Lorien Blades, Lorien Warriors, Staff Masters, all fighting against these Blackshot Dragon Slayers who are down to 26. And over here the Royal Guard are outflanking my blob of infantry that's fighting the Lake River Patrol. There's also a few of these Morquendi bows here. But again, I've still got 15 Galadriel Nobles, so they should do all pretty good at cutting down these Lake River Patrolmen. And the Dalian Royal Guard is now at 32. However, now that Mirkwood has pretty much dealt with the infantry over here, he will be able to push his leftover infantry over to this other flank and hopefully be able to help take out the Royal Guard as well as the Blackshot Dragon Slayers. Over here I also pushed a unit of Sylvan Spears over here to try to silence these Lake bows, who are, looks like they're targeting the Ladris Riders. Guardian Marksmen not going to do super great, honestly, against my Lorien Warriors and Blades. That might just be, yeah, Blades, Warriors, and Staff Masters. There's AP and high skill there, so not going to be good for them. 17 Blackshot Dragon Slayers now. Just looks like after fighting for a while and being completely surrounded, they are starting to go down now. 16. And here the... Oh, and there goes a general. I believe that is Tundra's Fox's general, so that is going to cause some routing amongst the lower tier units. Like the Lake Ten Bowmen just instantaneously routed. Looks like the Lake Ten River Patrol also routed. Over here, my Galadriel Nobles and my Spears are getting surrounded. My archers looks like by the Dalian Royal Guard. But that's alright, honestly, because after that, these Bardian Marksmen are actually thinking about routing. The Dragon Slayers are almost dealt with, so I will be able to free up some units and come over here and surround these Dalian Royal Guard, which you can see Mirkwood is also doing at the same time. And we'll go ahead and go back over here where the main fight is still going on. Looks like the Elves, it's still looking close, but honestly it looks like the Elves are, oh excuse me, pardon, looks like the Elves are starting to pull this back in their favor, which was honestly really surprising to me, because when I saw these blocks of infantry that Dale still had left over, I mean, you can even see, looks like Lengo's pike line did not do too well. Also the Earls going to be able to charge into the back of these Realm, or Lattice Guardians. Actually looks like that's the general unit of XXX right there, so he needs to be careful to not lose his general. But yeah, honestly it might have been a mistake from XXX by not using his shield up just to push straight through. Honestly, if he had done that, he would have been able to deal with the pikes even quicker and then gone on to the other units. Because as it is, he's really not doing too great. You can see the Elder Makar and the Enlarged Blade Masters cutting down the last of these Barding Herd who are actually thinking about routing. But he still does have a pretty nice block of spears here, but unfortunately I don't think the Dalian Spears will be able to win that fight. They'll be able to hold, but I definitely do not think they will win against those high-skill Elven units. And over here it looks like the Dalian Royal Guard, the Blackshot Dragon Slayers have been completely surrounded and defeated. Morquendi bows are routing. So it looks like we were able to claim the victory over here. But yeah, it was definitely a fun fight, at least for these two. Over there it's still looking close, but honestly, because of how far away we are, it's definitely going to take a minute to get over here to even try to help out Lengo. However, like I said, it's still even, honestly, over there with Lengo. Ooh. Oh no. Looks like he charged his Earls, his General's unit, into Lengo's. It looks like he's actually still fighting the actual General right there. But unfortunately, he lost his own general. It looks like he's not even going to be able to take out Langos. So that's going to cause a huge amount of routing, which is unfortunate because he just now decided to push through with his spears. Actually, almost made them rout right there. Over here, Barding Herd cutting down the last of these Eldar Hatar. Lake Town Bows are trying to target down those Unlattice Riders. But again, with both armor upgrades, I think Lango told me they've got like 12 armor or something. So they're not going to take pretty much any casualties from that skirmish fire. Oh, wow. And with some routes here, it looks like Lango is actually going to be able to pull this off. Surprisingly enough, because you can see his infantry pretty thin looking right now. But Dale, after losing his general, it looks like that is going to be enough to cause this loss. Oof, taking fire arrows from the back right there from those Elder Enway archers. Not going to be good for these Dalian spears. They're going to turn around and try to charge into them, but I'm assuming they're going to rout pretty much as soon as they get in the fight. No, they're shaking now. They're not wavering. Oh, I don't know. That's not going to be good. And you can see over here, the victorious Elven forces are marching their way over here. Well, not marching. They're actually just booking it. They're running. They're booking it all the way over there to try to help out. You can see Mirkwood is chasing off some routing units, whereas I'm just going to try to push over here. But it's pretty much unnecessary because it looks like Lango is going to be able to pull this victory out against Dale on his side. The Alien Spears actually doing not a bad job against Lango's bodyguard. You can see the general just getting poked by a number of... Oh, she got knocked down by some of those spears, but with the fire arrows and some more units coming forward here, it's going to be enough to rout those Dalian spears. And that will be just about it for this battle replay. So big thank you to all the players involved. It was definitely a very, very fun battle. Looks like the most kills. I got just barely the most kills. Lango getting 2,004. I got 2,100. Pharaoh also did very well. And Tundra's Fox, actually getting the most kills in the whole match, did extremely well for himself. Both XXX and Mark kind of struggled a little bit, but still they definitely did as best as they could. In terms of exact kills, my Galadrim Nobles doing well, getting 150, and both my Lorien Archers actually got 191 and then 151. Edeltirith did alright. My Warriors did pretty well for themselves considering they were AP and they're facing some pretty heavily armored forces. Staff Masters, they just did their job. And see the Lorien Blades, just a standard sword and shield infantry unit, getting 213, 176, 161, and then 145. My Sylvan Spears, actually, one unit got 135 kills, surprisingly enough. But, yeah, that'll pretty much be the end of this video, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. It was definitely a battle of archers. And I definitely think it could have gone either way, with just a few changes, I guess. Maybe a little bit better micro on some parts. But anyway, that will pretty much be the end of this one, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you guys did. If you did not, just tell me what I did wrong, and I'll be sure to fix it for the next video. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eye receive you at your journey's end.